I'm gonna stop the recording here, Randy.
All right.
If you're good on your end, we don't need to bog down our computers. So
yeah,
okay.
I recorded that whole time, no issues. So thank you, iMac, even though you're 1,000 years old.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin.
My name's DJ.
And I'm Randall.
All right, and we're going to be talking about some video games today.
We like video games.
In particular, we're going to talk about Hitman, Season 1. I think Randall played a little bit of Season 2 as well.
A smidge.
Did you now?
Got a little free sample of that first level, which I think the demo, for what it's worth, right? Am I correct in that? The first level is free, like you can download it and play through the first mission.
You are correct. Yes.
Okay. Is it the full location? Like, can you play the whole?
Yeah,
setting?
yeah. They give you they give you the whole first episode, but I bought it. I'm like, I'd played enough Hitman 1 where like I'm buying Hitman 2. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point to start off on, because I know one of the reasons we decided to pick this game, because it's certainly not news or any kind of new game. I guess Hitman 2 is a little more relevant, but both DJ and I did not play that. But it was just, especially for Randall and I, it's definitely something that kind of we stepped out of our comfort zone. We play a lot of like Nintendo and indie stuff and like platformers, and I don't play a lot of, I honestly think like the Uncharted games are probably the last third person like 3D action adventure kind of. I know that Hitman's a little different, but that's probably like the last third person, I guess, other than Mario and Zelda.
I was gonna say Breath of the Wild might be the closest, but not even really. Well, kind of in some ways.
I was gonna say, I guess with all the systems and stuff involved, there is like a little bit of similarity there, but we just kind of chose that, and it is something that was available on PS Plus in the past for free. So if you haven't gotten around or think that it's something that wouldn't normally pique your interest, I just kind of came and went. I actually bought the game a while ago and just had still never played it, like an idiot. Yeah, I bought the Steelbook complete Season 1 package.
It's kind of awesome though.
Yeah. Although I actually think I am gonna, because it was free on PS Plus. Now, I don't mean this is a total slam on the game, but I don't feel like that super compelling need to own it.
Right.
Considering I can still play it whenever I want, so I might get rid of it if it's worth anything. But we'll see. I'll see what to do with that from there.
There's another good, compelling reason for you to do that. Assuming you do jump into Hitman 2 at some point, you can get all of the episode or the first season levels, the Hitman 1 levels in Hitman 2. So,
okay, so you can kind of like just load up the Hitman 2 game.
Yep.
And like play any level.
Yep.
From either game.
I'm pretty sure that's contingent on you having owned Hitman 1 in some format, but I guess I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Does it come with just the campaign missions or like even the escalation missions?
I was able to play some Hitman 1 escalation stuff in Hitman 2.
Okay, nice. And okay, well, let's so you played all the Hitman 1 stuff from within Hitman 2.
I did.
Okay, good to know. Interesting, because I wonder, do you know if there's any kind of like upgrade to the engine or upgrade to any of the visuals or anything like that, or is it pretty much the same deal?
The visuals seem pretty much the same. I did play a little bit on PS4. I ended up playing Hitman 2 on Xbox One. I've got Xbox One X.
Okay.
So I had heard like, oh yeah, they smoothed out the frame rate a little bit or whatever. Like it just runs a little bit better. So like, yeah, let me play that version. But from what I could tell, no, it's pretty much the same engine, same experience.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I just played it on PS4, and I think DJ did the same. Yeah, not to keep speaking for you, DJ.
Clearly, we did our research.
Yeah. And then, by the way, if you're coming here for info, you're coming to the wrong place.
Google it.
But not to say that hopefully we don't come across like idiots, but we are a little bit. So, but
what is frame rate?
but yeah, let's start there. So you mentioned the escalation missions real quick, Randall.
Yeah.
And that was something, so like probably up until when I first took a dive into the game, when we decided that we were going to play it, I kind of bounced off it. I played like the first tutorial missions, and I shouldn't say bounced off, but I wasn't having a great time. And I was kind of like, the menus are really tough to navigate.
Yeah.
At least maybe not tough to navigate, but they're not intuitive to me.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
Yeah. And it's all from within the menu. Like, it's stuff that you feel like you should be able to access within the game. Like, I didn't even realize there was a map you could access in the levels until quite a bit into the game, where I was like, oh, you can pause it and go look at an actual map. Like, now I knew about the radar map,
right?
But like an actual separate map that you can pull up and zoom in on and check different floors and all that. But even getting to that is kind of finicky, if it could have been like a hotkey press or something.
Right.
But again, there's a lot going on in this game, so I guess it's kind of hard to map that to a specific button on the controller. But yeah, I kind of bounced off it a little bit playing it first. Then I dug in a little bit more. I was having a good time. Probably had the most fun on a day when like DJ and I and our friends Alana and John,
yes,
it was us four, and we were just kind of hot seating the game, passing the controller back and forth, and just playing one of the levels where we would just take turns, and after somebody died, the next person would have to go about the mission in a totally different way that no one else had done yet.
Wow.
So that was probably the most fun I had playing the game, just kind of that self-restricted, I don't know, I can't even think of the word, or those just self-imposed restrictions.
Like an artificial difficulty, self-imposed,
yeah. So that was pretty fun, and then I happened to be watching I was listening to some old Idle Thumbs podcast episodes, and for some reason, like the backlog that I was in just happened to be at around the time that Hitman Season 1 came out.
Nice.
So they were talking about, and this is when they were coming out episode by episode, and then they were playing and doing streams online of like the escalation missions, and that once I started playing those, and I admittedly only played a couple, but I really enjoyed those. And before, I guess I've been talking for a minute here, so Randy, I know you said you were able to play some of those.
I did. I just played one of them, the on the Sapienza level. I think that's how you pronounce that. The second level of Hitman.
Yeah. Okay.
1.
And I think DJ was also playing escalation missions on that same level.
Nice.
I was playing in Marrakesh. You were Sapienza?
Yeah, I think I was doing the first escalation mission on Sapienza yesterday.
Yeah, and I actually did the same thing. So
okay, nice. So that's nice and fresh.
Us.
Yeah. So why don't you guys talk about that for a second? Then if I feel like I have other things to share opinion-wise, I'll chime in.
Yeah. No, I guess it's the escalation part's nice. So talking broadly about Hitman, like when you're playing through the main Sapienza level, like I don't know about you guys, but it took me like an hour and a half to complete like all objectives, doing everything's like very cautiously, very like making sure I was not getting caught, making sure I wasn't, killing anybody, just knocking folks out and putting them in the random dumpsters that are apparently littered everywhere through every level. Because that's
you're going for the 5 stars.
I try to, yeah.
Okay, so we're all playing the same way, right? We're all. I mean, I will occasionally just if I kill a guard or something that's not a target, and by accident or like in a pinch, like I'll kind of keep rolling with it, and just especially if it like heightens the tension, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get caught. But for the most part, I'm trying not to harm anyone that is not a target.
Yes,
yeah, I think that was the main limit that I abided by. Like if I got recorded and I like couldn't find the room where they're recording, something like that, like
who cares?
I just let it go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like,
although it did feel cool to then find that and like, oh, I erased the footage, or like now I'm good. Like I don't even have to worry about cameras anymore because I sabotaged this thing.
Which that's really cool. That's a cool gameplay element. It's not just shoot the cameras. A couple different ways of going about something like that. So, but all that being said, like, playing through Sapienza for the first time, it's like an hour and a half experience or however long for me. And granted, that included some like, oh shoot, I ended up dying because I did something stupid, so I had to reload and yada yada. But
because no save points in those escalations, which I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, that just increases the tension, right? Like even more.
Yeah.
Throughout the campaign, like, I would have all these save points and, they're convenient, but they also made me a little bit less appreciative of the experience, I think.
Yeah, I think when you dive into like the way the escalation missions force you to do that, I think they allow you to get the true, I shouldn't say the true, but the Hitman experience that I wanted.
Right.
Based on all the praise I'd heard about this game. I picked it up on a whim, not on a whim, but I'd heard a lot of good things from people that I tend to agree with and like the games that they like. So I just kind of went with it and was like, hey, even this is out of my comfort zone or out of the usual or out of the norm for me. I do want to check it out, and I think that allowed me to play the game in a way that was fun for me.
Right.
And I guess we should talk real quick about how the game works regularly. And that was some of my like small gripes is like I feel like so in the main missions you have like usually 2 targets, right, per mission. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I don't think any of them had 1 except for like the first tutorial missions.
There's one that where there's 4. Later on.
Jesus, damn.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, I only played up through Marrakesh, so I didn't.
The second to last mission has 4 people.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And these are like relatively big, not full blown open worlds, but they're like
they're pretty big.
They're pretty big and interact. You can go into a lot of the buildings and whatnot. But I found that like when I was playing it first, you as soon as you overhear like an objective or you overhear something that an NPC is saying, and it kind of highlights a new objective or a new way for you to maybe infiltrate the mansion in the Paris level, for example.
Right.
You'd overhear like a cameraman talking about something, and you'd be like, okay, maybe I can get in this way and pose as a cameraman, or I forget what the exact scenario is, but something to that effect. And it just, for me, it was like a little too reliant on like the scripted events, and like, all the NPCs like that you typically, if they're like the main target in the mission, they almost always have like a bodyguard following them. And at least for me, like I didn't really care for like poisoning a glass and having them go to a glass. Like the fun for me was like finding a way to sneak in unseen and just pick somebody off with my silenced pistol without being seen, or maybe people will see the kill, but they won't know who did it.
Right.
They'll see the person die.
Yeah. Right.
God, this sounds so morbid, so out of my comfort zone. But yeah, like
assassinations. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is what we signed up for.
Yeah.
But you liked it when you kind of discovered your own plan, rather than a plan being given to you.
Right.
Makes
Kind
sense.
of, gets rid of any kind of puzzle solving you could do on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like how, like, and especially if you can choose to turn this off and you can adjust the HUD and whatnot however you like, but the like kind of default is like you overhear something like the cameraman conversation, and then you can just track that and it'll show you exactly on the map where to find the camera lens, and like it'll highlight all the things, and like the fun for me was like sneaking around. It took me because of the menus, that was kind of hard for me to figure out at first, but like a little light bulb icon will appear. And then you can just literally follow that directly to the thing. And it's like, there's no way, that the game is so simulation based. And like, there's no way that you would have, I know they have some recon and some intel going into the mission, but like, or you as Agent 47 or, theoretically have that. But there's no way you would know exactly where this camera lens is or
right.
I didn't really care for that. I will say that I actually disliked that. I thought that it kind of made the mechanics of the game break down, because you're just setting up these scripted events to happen.
That's interesting. I feel like I didn't use the radar map. Maybe I didn't notice or play it that way. But like, besides the actual targets, I don't think I used the map to find items necessarily. I guess I didn't realize that was even part of the gameplay. Were
you following specific objectives or challenges that they presented?
There's a couple of times where it was, like where it opens up some sub objective or a new pathway, things like that had opened up, but I don't remember necessarily, or maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention to the map screen to see that was happening.
For what it's worth, what I'm talking about is it actually is not even on the map. Like, it'll actually show a light bulb.
Oh wow!
Like kind of like when
how it shows the exit.
Yeah, when you complete the mission and it shows the exit, it actually shows the light bulb that you can see through any wall.
Oh boy!
Anything, and you can just again, this is only if you select to track that objective.
Right.
But I guess I just found the objectives to be the least fun way to play the game. Like, I really enjoyed, like, on the Paris mission, for example, you have to kill this lady and this guy who are running a fashion show of some kind. I don't know, I forget how they're affiliated, but she kind of roams around upstairs in this mansion, and this guy follows her around, her bodyguard or whatever, and they have occasionally like stop and have a conversation in this particular room.
Right.
And I was able to on one occasion have like she walked out of the room right after their conversation, and just before he left the room, I was able to throw a coin and lure him back in for him to inspect. And then so I choked him out, threw him in the bathroom, not killed him, but just knocked him unconscious, stuffed him in a closet.
Yeah.
And then
as you do.
And then she was just roaming around, almost like it's like she didn't even notice that her bodyguard was gone, and she would just mill around in this room by herself. And eventually, I was able to just take her out, and then I just liked kind of creating those opportunities for myself as opposed to taking the ones that the game scripted for me. But again, once I dove into the escalation missions and you start adding in like the targets you have are not the targets from the scripted like story events.
Yeah.
They're just kind of rando NPCs scattered throughout the level. And by the way, escalation missions, I'm sorry I'm talking so much here, but the escalation missions are like, it'll be one, like you'll have to kill this one target, and then after you do that, you have to kill that target and another one in a specific way, and it's usually like up to 5 times, and it just keeps like stacking either different objectives or different targets or different ways you have to complete the assassination. I just found that way more interesting and it highlights the mechanics of the game. I really enjoyed that a lot. I'm glad I dove into those because I kind of looked at it as like a tacked on feature to just breathe some extra life into these missions.
And I only played one of the escalation missions, that Espienza one, but I just appreciated like, oh, there's only this one target. This guy's just like hanging out in the lawn over here. It's like a different experience than the other characters that have a ton of bodyguards, and like, oh, I can like, I'm in and out of this in, I don't know, 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's much quicker.
The hour and a half I was spending before. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's sweet.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, DJ? Just shakes his head no. Which is great radio. You can hear the wind. I thought it looked like you were about to say something. I apologize.
So I was going to say, I think you and I played different Sapienza missions. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, you're talking to Randall.
If you were playing one where you got to kill someone on the lawn, I think I had to kill someone outside like a clothing store or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. There were quite a few. There were like probably about a half dozen or more on each level of these like 5-tiered escalating missions. So, which is really cool.
Like they made this whole like level, and they're putting it to use for more than just that main campaign mission. So I appreciate that.
And this is this is not an original thought from me by any means, but like one of the things that I liked about this game and in these escalation missions, like the one I did, I had to kill this one particular guy in a shopkeeper's outfit. And I found like a path, like, okay, if I start in this location as the waiter, I'm able to kind of sneak around up this pipe and like know right where the shopkeeper is and steal his outfit, kill this guy. And then, okay, next mission, I have to do that and kill a different guy on top of that.
Right.
And it got to the point where like by the 4th time, it added a 3rd guy for the 3rd round. And then so I had this routine down almost, it's like you're perfecting the performance.
Right.
Like each run is like, okay, I got to get there. He'll be right there. And no one in the crowd, no one will see me take his costume.
It's almost like a speed run at that point.
Yeah. It feels very like the person I was thinking of is James Spafford was talking about how it like, it feels like you're rehearsing a piece of music almost, or it's comparable to that. Like, just getting better and better and smoother at that. And then it throws you for a loop. So after I got these 3 guys down, and then it threw me for a loop, kill those same 3 guys, but it all has to be in an explosion. Or in individual explosions. It doesn't have to all be one.
Oh, okay.
but it was still, that wasn't how I killed any of them. So I had to totally rethink my plan and my route. And then the next one was I had to kill all 3 of them, but the first 2 had to be killed within 10 seconds of one another.
Oh my gosh.
So it like gets pretty extreme. I didn't finish that last. I saw that and was just like, okay, I've been playing for a while. That's as much as I can stomach at the moment.
It kind of makes you change like the way you approach it because, similarly, like the first 3 of the one I did, like the first 3 objectives, like they were pretty straightforward and easy to, go for the 5 stars on.
Right.
Like by the time it was the 4th iteration, I had to always have my gun out and like I spawn just right by like just a ton of people. So there's no way that I'm not going to get like hunted right away.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he's got a gun.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I approached this the wrong way, but it seemed like, okay, don't even go for the 5 stars now. Like, that's not what you need to concern yourself with. You just need to do it.
Yep, just complete it.
And so I just, mowed down a bunch of bodyguards with my pistol.
I do like the tension the game provides, when you get in a predicament, or when we were all playing, we were playing the Sapienza level, and I know I was playing, and I was like, you have to like kill the 2 people and destroy this like virus or something.
Yeah.
Right. In the lab, but that's like in the basement or like this underground cave. And like I got a pretty good run going, and then like I don't even know if I did it on purpose, but I had like this hazmat suit on, and I accidentally had a screwdriver in my hand, and I just started like shanking everybody, and like everything hits the fan. They see me, and like bullets are flying, and it really does feel like you're like on an escape mission, or like if somebody sees you like steal someone's costume, or I keep calling them costumes, outfits, whatever.
They're costumes for you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, if somebody sees that and you're like, oh, well, maybe if I run away and knock out a janitor and take his costume, I'll be in the clear again. It really does ratchet up that tension really nicely.
Because in the campaign, like, don't you have to eliminate any suspicion on you before you can actually like leave?
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know that.
I feel like that's a thing. I was pretty did no research, so
yeah, I was pretty cautious playing the missions, like even more so than on these escalation missions, but
I feel like I don't know, but that's there were a couple instances where like I was at the exit, but there was a little bit of suspicion on me, so I couldn't leave yet.
Oh no,
huh? But that's a cool mechanic, actually. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, but when I did the escalation missions, like that was definitely not a thing.
Yeah,
I just killed a ton of people and ran to the exit.
Yeah,
past the point of suspicion at that point.
Yeah, past the point, just like arrested, but you're just going for it. Convicted.
Yes.
I ended up having a good time with this game, and especially with dipping back into these escalation missions, and the fact that it's just kind of sitting downloaded on my PS4 because of PlayStation Plus.
Right.
I do see myself, maybe not all the time, but I definitely see myself dipping back into this one potentially from time to time. I don't know if I'll go as far as you, Randall, and spring for Hitman 2 just yet.
Yeah.
Unless I see like a really good deal on it or something. But I don't feel immediately compelled, especially because I feel like there's still a ton of shit I haven't done. I haven't even played all the levels yet. So
right.
I got plenty
there's
more to play.
Of challenges per,
yeah.
There's a lot of game there.
No doubt about it. And it is interesting that they did the kind of, I don't know if it was monthly or every couple months, but they released them all like individually,
Yeah.
As individual packages, and then at the end or at the beginning, I think you could buy like the season pass or whatever the hell they called it.
Right.
But I do think, against my expectations, I ended up enjoying this game, and it does have a nice, silliness to it, or that's not quite right, but like it does, as grim as the subject matter is, that it takes itself just seriously enough, but also doesn't, the NPC dialogue, like, hey, security guard, keeping it, I forget what they even say, keeping it fly or whatever they say. It's stupid, but it takes you out of the fact that you're just mowing down human beings,
Yeah. Definitely some Metal Gear influence going on and some of that stuff too. Similar vibes and some of those things, the corniness of some dialogue and things like that every once in a while.
Yeah, so. But thankfully not as pervy as some nice Metal Gear panty shots.
Oh boy,
God,
yeah,
what a joke.
Japan.
Speaking of PlayStation Plus, Metal Gear Survive is the free PlayStation Plus this month.
Can't wait.
Not too interested in that.
The doldrums of almost summer. Yeah, that's rough.
I'm still gonna play it.
Yeah,
I'm compelled to play every PS Plus game I get.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody gets more value out of their PlayStation Plus subscription than DJ.
That's commendable. That is.
It's like, well, I don't ever pay attention to like what's coming out or anything. Like I hear most of my stuff through Kevin. Like, oh, like you see this Yoku's Island game or something like that. Like,
yeah,
like or a game like Stared In. Like I never would have known about if it wasn't for you.
Stared in binary stars, by the way, if anyone's interested.
Yeah, if anyone's interested.
It's a great shoot 'em up.
You want to try to beat my high score?
We'll probably talk about that game at some point, because I know DJ and I really like that, so we'll table that for later.
Yes.
But yeah, like, it's at least 95% of the games I play are like just through the PS Plus, and I feel compelled to beat most of them. Like, it really takes a lot for me to be like, I'm not gonna beat this game. So we'll see if I feel the need to go through Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be painful, but maybe I'll put on a couple podcasts.
You've already downloaded.
Maybe I'll put on this recording.
I thought you were gonna say maybe I'll put on a couple pounds, play some Metal Gear Survive.
Give me some ice cream.
Yeah, I'll just pity play this game and hate my life. But okay, so that at least wraps up my take on Hitman for the most part. I mean, I could talk about it some more, but how, do you guys have anything you want to add?
I mean, we've talked about this. I feel very similarly to you, and I think to go into more detail, I think if I was to continue to play this game, it would be the way we were doing it with like a big group.
The hot seat.
That seemed to be the most fun. Like, we were just laughing our asses off the whole time, like, because a lot of us approach things differently. So we'd all be like, "Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, why are you going that way? What are you doing?"
That's cool.
And that because it's so systems driven, there'd be like all those random, like the one out level. I think it's Sapienza as well, where you have to like kill that caddy or that golf instructor. And the time I was playing, he's just standing there looking over the cliff, and he just wouldn't move. He just stood there forever, and I was just like, "Fuck this guy!" And just fucking I either kicked him off or shoved him or hit him with a club or something. And then, so it has its issues. So I think it's easier to overlook the issues when you're playing with a group of friends because you can just laugh at it. And I would definitely be interested in doing that again. It's definitely a fun way to play this game. What about you, Randall? Anything you wanted to add before we wrap up our Hitman chat?
I'm a fan. Yeah, kind of like we had mentioned before.
You sprung for
like,
2, right? Yeah,
I've invested in the Hitman franchise here. Got that Hitman 2 full gold package on my Xbox One X, so I've got access to all the levels, and I don't know, I'm just enjoying going through it, but I really like those system-based games. Like, I'm the guy that put 160 plus hours into Breath of the Wild just because I love the systems. It wasn't like the storyline was pushing me forward. And I feel similarly about this. It's just like this playground that you can use these systems in different ways, and it just feels like there's a lot of freedom there. I know there were some, there's those scripted side events and things like that, but it never really bothered me. I don't know. I kind of still found ways to do things the way that I wanted to do them in that moment. At least the game always gave me the opportunity to do so. So it was fun. I'll still keep playing it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm especially like since you mentioned like you didn't really catch the light bulb notifications and stuff, so you might have had a more similar experience to like the one that I was looking for, and I just couldn't figure out how to turn that off in the menu.
Yeah.
I thought I had figured it out, but couldn't. So
yeah, I don't know. So, just kind of like organically going through the level, I just happened to like, oh yeah, I'm going through this. I'm getting into this room because I needed to hide from this guard. But oh hey, there's that key that I like needed to get into this secret, sub area. Sweet, I can pick that up now and grab this mallet or whatever while I'm here, and go around this other direction. And I don't know. It's just there's a lot of freedom there. I appreciate games like that.
Yeah.
Have you replayed any of the same missions and tried to do things in different ways, or have you just been like, oh, I'll do this escalation mission, or I'll do this campaign? Like, have you ever like done the same campaign mission multiple times?
I have not. No, I haven't gone that far yet. No, it's right now. It's just kind of like forward progress. Besides, the escalation stuff, I really haven't taken up the excuse to replay a level, replay a campaign yet.
I tried because I'm a sucker for completionist things, and when I see when you hover over each destination, it's like, oh, you did 22 out of like 120 challenges. It's just like, oh man,
just like you
I can't
suck at
that.
This game. Yeah.
So I went back through the first I went through all like the tutorial, like the 3 tutorial levels, and then like the Paris place.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I just hit a point where I was like, I'm done. Like, unless I'm gonna play it like again, like in a group, just having fun with it, like I definitely hit a wall.
Yeah. I think that would suck the fun out of it if you were just forced to do everything, as opposed to having the opportunity to do anything. So,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I've thankfully in recent years been able to kind of turn that part of my brain off when I'm playing games. I used to be very like, I gotta get every collectible and every stat and 100%. And like, not like I'm some master video gamer, but like when I got into a game that it felt like I could do that in, it was like immediately a switch would click in my brain. Like I gotta get everything, you know. And it's like it was games actually like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey that kind of turned me off of that. Of like, there's fucking 900 moons in this game, or 900 Deku seeds, or
that'll
whatever
destroy the
called.
fun of those games.
Yeah, it's just like, just do the stuff. If it's a game with, obviously, if it's a game that doesn't have that kind of depth, then you might just not like the game.
Right.
But like, if it's a game that has a ton of different layers and systems, it's like, just play the shit that's fun, and don't do the stuff that's you're not having fun doing. And I've been enjoying playing video games much more since I've given up on that, you know.
I'm trying to do that too, especially, you know, as I'm trying to go through all this backlog of PS Plus games. Like, I just want to knock them all out and just be like, okay, well,
like I experienced
may not have
that.
100%ed this game, but you know, I did enough. Like, I beat it.
Yeah.
I can
the fact that you even launched most of those games is really saying something.
Oh man, that is no joke. Okay, so we've spent about a half hour here ish talking about Hitman, so I think we can wrap that up there if you guys feel good about that.
Oh yeah,
I feel great.
It's a good game.
Oh, okay, yeah. Overall, I would say, especially if it's your thing, but even if it's not, it might be worth prodding at and messing around with, especially if you have PlayStation Plus, or it sounds like it was free on Xbox at some point as well.
I think the first one was definitely at some point.
Yeah. So if you had the opportunity to scoop it up when it was available, or if it's, you know, you see it for cheap, even if it's not necessarily something that's at the top of your radar, you know, I'm someone who doesn't play these kind of games, and I still had a pretty good time. So
heck yeah.
So keep your eyes out for that, I suppose, for this old game that you probably already know a shit ton about.
Still worth playing.
Yeah, but moving on, since I've been talking a bunch, did you guys have some other games that you maybe want to talk about? Anything else you've been playing? We kind of did some test runs of this podcast a while back, and then I had hernia surgery. Randall bought a new house with his wife.
Yep.
And
I'm just scumming around, trying to go through my backlog.
You've been in the trenches playing games.
Playing all the PS Plus games.
Yeah.
So what were you gonna say, DJ?
I can't even remember. There's been so many, I can't even remember all of them. Just most recently, I was telling you I did Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, which is maybe a year ago it was released for free.
Yeah, that's been probably even before that, because I do have it on PlayStation.
I'd like to hear you talk about that, DJ, if you want to. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think I had the true
I was just going to say, maybe we should table this because we were talking, not today, but earlier, about playing it potentially co-op, because it's up to 2 to 4 players. But there is a single-player mode that has a kind of different layer to it, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
you have a companion or something.
Yeah, you're managing, companion, and which is kind of nice because you don't have to, like, be on the same page as anyone else.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, we're playing defensive, or we're playing, you know, let's inch along and play cautiously, or if you have somebody who just wants a fucking jet set.
Yeah, or like 2 people won't jump and try to go to the same station. Like, the other person's
good point, yeah.
And like the CPU has, like, you know, really good aim, and if they're on defense, they're great at blocking stuff for the most part. So,
and you're just delegating them, is that right?
You're just sending them to a station, and
that could get complicated.
Yeah,
a little bit, yeah.
Oof. But you said, I know DJ said there's like a slow down mechanic where, like, when you're switching and selecting, it doesn't like freeze time, right? But
yeah, you hold triangle if you're on PS4 and like use the analog stick to direct them to a station. It's like, and it's in slow mo while
bullet time, max pain.
Not a bad solution.
So you can't you can't just be cheap about it and just freeze time. So you can be like, okay, I'm gonna plan out all my stuff exactly,
right?
But at the same time, like, you do get a little cushion. that I think is necessary.
Yeah, there's no way you could play that, because even playing in real time with multiple people, again, you do have that issue of like going for the same thing or whatever, but it's
That's
really
part of the
hard
fun,
to
though.
juggle. Yeah. So let's table this one for now, so that we can, if you don't mind, DJ, we can play a little more
to come,
co-op and stuff, and just see, because I've played it maybe one time, a little bit of co-op, but I would like to get more into that. I always forget that that's another like roguelike game that just randomly generates the levels and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one that I would like to dive a little more into. So yeah, let's table that one for a later discussion, if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Not at all.
Cool.
I'll get my notes.
Okay, well, again, I've been talking, I feel at least like I've been talking way too much, so...
we love it, Kevin. Keep talking.
No, I'm going to talk, Kevin.
Got a great voice.
I want to talk about Whip
yeah.
Whip.
Okay, Whip Whip.
Yeah, what is this game?
Go ahead and whip me into shape.
So Whip Whip is developed by Alpha Unit, which you've never heard of, and it's essentially
speak for yourself.
It's very, very, very much inspired by Bubble Bobble or Parasol Stars. It's a single screen, full screen as opposed to widescreen like orientation, like just single screen gameplay. Take out all the enemies on the screen to then scroll up to the next level that you have to do the same thing. So if anybody's played Bubble Bobble, which hopefully you have, it's a fun time.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic NES arcade title. I feel like most people who play games probably know what that is.
Yes,
but maybe not.
So
I shouldn't be presumptuous.
If you haven't, then I would encourage you to check out Bubble Bobble.
Yeah, it's a very fun, especially 2-player.
Yes,
I will say, as good as that theme song is, it's very monotonous when you play 100 levels in a row of
It
just
is good enough though to kind of not get sick of it for a good long while though. I don't know, the game kind of puts you in a trance.
Yeah, it does.
Well, Whip Whip it's going for the same thing. I'm not sure it's quite as good as Bubble Bobble is, but it definitely does have a 2-player mode. Unfortunately, I've not been able to try it out quite yet. My wife and I will play it together at some point here, though.
Okay, you haven't played any co-op yet?
Not yet, but I did play quite a bit of the single player. There's 100 levels, again, just like Bubble Bobble. But the key difference with the gameplay between the two is, whereas in Bubble Bobble, you're shooting bubbles out of your monster's mouth to capture the monsters, then you can like run into them and kill them. In this game, you're grabbing the monsters with your kind of extendo arm, kind of like the Sega Genesis game Ristar.
And
then you're kind of like grabbing them with your arm, and then your momentum kind of pulls you towards them with like this kicking motion that then can knock into multiple monsters with your kind of momentum arc. So,
like, as in you go through them, or
yes,
you're knocking the monsters into other monsters?
You go through them. So, unfortunately, you can't, from what I've seen, knock monsters into other monsters. That would also be fun. And that is something you can do in Parasol Stars, which is a very fun TurboGrafx game, but also developed by Taito. But I do appreciate this game for what it is. It has a kind of cooking theme. Every level is called a recipe. So it's like recipe 1, recipe 2.
I like that.
Every 10 levels, you have a boss battle too, which is kind of a different take. So,
yeah, there's only one boss in Bubble Bobble, right at the end of the game.
Right.
So, not to keep comparing the two, but it does, like, I've just seen some screenshots and stuff, and it does look just painfully similar to, not a bad way, because, Bubble Bobble, like you said, is a great, fun game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good pain. It's that sweet, sweet pain. Max Payne, if you will.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I just kill me now.
Is that two Max Payne references?
Yeah, I know. We need to get Agent 47 to just put me out of my misery.
Maybe that's the next game we review, Max Payne.
Bust out the PS2s.
There you go.
Anyway, sorry to
no bullet time in this game though. It's very much active arcade style, straightforward. So they do have boss battles every 10 levels. But the nice part about this, compared to the one boss battle in Bubble Bobble, is that it still follows the same mechanics of the game. It doesn't try and like come up with something tremendously new that you hadn't been already kind of learning along the way as far as how the mechanics work. So you're still kind of grabbing at the boss as you were the individual characters, but now you're just looking for a red weak spot when it opens up, and they're pretty fun. The one gripe I kind of have with this game, the biggest gripe, is that your character moves kind of slow by default, especially when he's just walking around. You can walk around and jump, but I mean, that's not really how you win at this game. You want to be grabbing at stuff to really get yourself kind of flying in the air and moving around quickly. So that's kind of an issue. You can adjust in the settings to make yourself a little bit faster, and there are kind of power-ups through the game you can grab in the same way you can grab monsters or grab the candy that pops out of monsters after you kill them that gives you points.
Yeah.
But it's kind of an issue. I didn't feel bad about bumping up the speed of the character just to make myself have a little bit more fun with it.
Was that like an option, or you did that in
settings,
like a perk? Oh, it's in the settings. Yeah. Okay. Does that speed up the whole game or just your character?
Just your character. Just bumps him up a notch, and there are technically power ups that also speed up your character, but they're kind of few and far between. You'll get like one power up that'll show up on a level, maybe every 10 levels tops.
Okay, interesting. That's an interesting. I don't know. That's weird that you can just change your character's speed.
Yeah,
like, in Celeste, in the like safe mode, what is it called? Assist mode.
Right.
You can like change the speed of the whole game. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of that, of just like adding a tweak to just the player character. That's interesting.
They must have been aware that was a possible thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost seems like a possible difficulty modifier.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's definitely, I would say so. The game is definitely easier once you tweak that speed up of your character, and less frustrating, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because that's one of the few gripes I have about Bubble Bobble, is just like, other than like some of the dated elements of the game or whatever, but it is very like, I just fucking lost my train of thought.
The only other thing that bugs me a little bit about this game, not to keep harping on it now after I was happy at first, but so you're kind of, if you're near the top of the level and you need to go back down, you kind of have to find an opening to go back down, or grab an enemy or a candy that's beneath you. You can't just like hold down and press the jump button to go down a level. Like you can in most similar games like that. So that,
like through a platform or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a bit frustrating too.
So you can aim your grab though?
Yes.
Like your extended grab. Is that like an 8 direction? Or
yeah.
Just like 360 degrees or okay.
Yeah, I would say 8 direction is probably about right. Yeah.
Okay, so you can shoot it downwards, grab an enemy below the platform and launch yourself through the platform?
Yes.
Okay. So that's cool.
There's ways around it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That actually sounds interesting. I know you grabbed it on sale, right, on the eShop?
Yeah, and its regular price is $6.99, and I'd say it's a feel-good price of about $4.99, where, I'd say I'd recommend it at, $4.99, $5, especially if you have someone else you could play it with.
Yeah, I actually think the standard price is 10, right, isn't it? And then it was on sale for 7? This is irrelevant anyways, but...
on the eShop today, it was $6.99, but I'm not sure if it was on sale or not, to be honest.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think it might still currently be on sale, but either way, worth checking out, I guess, according to Randall here, if you're into Bubble Bobble.
Yeah, I own it. Generally.
Yeah. It doesn't have any kind of online, right? It's just local 2-player co-op.
Yeah, just local co-op or single player.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I've been into kind of the arcadey. Is there like a score system kind of thing? Yeah. There's definitely a score system. There might be leaderboards. I didn't look closely enough. Oh, okay. I would hope so. That'd be awesome. Those kind of games like that can occasionally push a game to the next level for me. Like, not that I'm trying to be number one in the world or anything, but it just is nice to just see like, where am I at? Can I move up a little? Can I be a little bit better at this? I like that feeling. Totally. So yeah, that can definitely give a game that has maybe not a ton of depth a little more. Absolutely. But since we tabled Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime, DJ, have you been playing anything else worth talking about? Oh God.
right now I'm playing this game Fenix Furia, which is kind of like a Super Meat Boy type game. But what's nice about it?
What's it called again? I'm sorry. I
Fenix Furia.
Okay. Spelled with a PH or
no, Fenix.
And Furia.
You got it.
Furia.
But yeah, it's like a Super Meat Boy. Like, you can complete a level in any time, but like if you want like the gold star, you got to do it within this certain amount of time, and it's pretty difficult. And what's nice is like you get infinite jumps, like you can jump as much as you want midair, and infinite dash. And I definitely am someone who appreciates being able to like move really quickly. Like I just love fast-paced platformers. So yeah, this is kind of right up my alley. It's man, I'm like a quarter of the way through, and it's getting pretty difficult. Like it'll take me maybe like 10 minutes per level.
Oh boy.
Damn.
Some can like really just hurt my hands after a while, just mashing some buttons.
Is it in that same Super Meat Boy vein though, of like when you beat the level, it's only like 20 seconds or something like that?
Yeah.
Of the actual. Okay. Okay. Crazy.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. With Super Meat Boy, it's like if you died and went back, it would keep the clock running. Like,
I don't know, actually. I don't think so.
Okay.
Boy, I can't remember anymore.
I might be totally wrong, but I thought it restarted.
Okay.
I thought so.
It restarts with Fenix Furia, and I couldn't remember if that was something Super Meat Boy did. And I was like, oh, well, that's nice that they do that, so I don't have to like manually restart just so I can get the right time.
Yeah, that'd be so frustrating.
They also have they also have that thing where weren't there little like portals in certain levels in Meat Boy where it would transfer you to like a 8-bitty kind of
like a sub world.
They've got that. They've got that in Fenix Furia too. Huh. So it's pretty much a rip. But I'm having fun with it so far.
All kinds of clone games.
Yeah, I'm looking up just some screenshots on my phone here. This game looks pretty cool.
Are you playing on PS4, DJ?
Yeah. It was on sale like a couple of years ago. I feel like I got it for like $3 or something.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, I've definitely looked this game up before because I recognize this main character. It all like art style wise, it almost looks like a little bit like a mixture of like Fez and Super Meat Boy.
Oh. Yeah,
Fez is maybe a little bit of an oversell. It doesn't look quite as clean. It has a little more of like a flat color palette. It doesn't look as pixely as Fez does.
Yeah,
but it's still it's cool. It's got a cool style. I like it. It's unique.
Yeah, I mean they also do yeah. I haven't gotten to this part in the game, but I've looked at the trophies and it's like, oh, I can tell they're gonna have like dark versions of each world. Like,
oh, okay. Oh, so it's got a lot of content here.
Well, yeah.
To use my favorite word about video games, content.
All the content.
Content cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm 2 days into it, and I've gotten like the stars on every one of the levels on the first 2 worlds, and I think there's going to be 6 more worlds to go.
Oof.
Hell yeah.
So we'll see.
And it's not like a tiered rating system. It's not like a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. It's just like you get the star or you don't.
There are multiple stars. However, I think there are different modes you can play each level. And I can't say for certain what the other modes are. I think I'm just playing normal.
Okay.
And I think I don't know how the other modes are different, but I think that's how you get, like, there's up to 3 stars per level. But like just playing on the normal mode, just
you
1 star.
Only get the
available.
1. Yeah.
Okay. And they also do a thing where like there's a cookie in each level that,
like a bandage or
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like precariously placed, or are they more hidden, or are they?
They're pretty easy to find. I mean, like
just more hard to get.
Those band-aids, like I feel like their shade would be so close to other things in the level,
background or something.
Hard to find. Like these cookies are like obvious.
Yeah,
so.
For sure.
Yeah,
man, I haven't played Meat Boy in so long.
I know.
Man.
I need to go
Not
back.
since we lived together.
That's a classic. I don't even know if I played it then. I mostly just watched you guys. Because I played it on my 360 and I haven't touched that thing. And were we playing it on 360?
Yeah.
Jesus,
that's what I played.
I don't remember having that hooked up.
Yeah,
I need to get that on Switch. I always forget that that's on Switch.
Yeah, they released it physically too.
Actually. They did?
Yeah, they did.
No,
yeah.
I was keeping my eye out for that. I thought they canceled that.
No, I think it's available at Best Buy right now. I think.
Oh man, I got to look into that.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's another game I need. Although that's another one that's like, I'm so on the fence. I used to always want the physical copies of games, and like for a game like that that's just so pick up and play.
Yeah,
I just have such a hard time like justifying. I find myself, with a lot of these roguelikes, like we talked about earlier for a quick second, but like I'll fire those up, and like if I had to pop in the cartridge every time, that I know that makes me sound like the laziest piece of shit on earth, but like I even Mario Kart and Mario Tennis, I bought those physically, and I don't play them as much. Where like Rocket League is just on my system, and I play it all the time.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just
about
there,
that.
and I got 30 minutes to kill. Oh, it's there, and I'm already laying on the couch. Yep. And all I have to do is hit a button on my controller, and I'm fired up, and it somehow simultaneously powers up my TV. Like I don't even know how that works, but like I'm just ready to play. Any time. I know. Again, that sounds so pathetic, but it is what it is. I play those games way more. And Enter the Gungeon. I played a shit ton of that game, and like I wouldn't have done it if I had to keep popping in. I'm like kind of mad that they announced a physical copy of that game, but at the same time, I wouldn't play it as much. So
that's not on my radar yet. I might have to pick up the physical, even though I'll never play it.
No, you got to play Gungeon.
Well, no, I played Gungeon. I won't play the physical copy.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we got to talk about that game at some point, because I know DJ and I have dumped like a just absurd amount of hours into that game.
We still haven't played it since the recent update, so we still need to do
they just had that final update earlier or last month, I guess, in April. Farewell to Arms, and I really haven't even played it since that Dungeons and Dragons update. I played like 2 runs real quick just to take a look, but
right.
Yeah, I got to really dig into that game again, but I just played it so much.
Yeah.
Well, I guess is that all you wanted to say, DJ, about Fenix Furia?
Are you going to see it through? Are you going to play all the levels?
It's DJ.
I'm gonna play them all, but like it's a question of, am I gonna try to get the star on every level?
Right.
And I'm gonna have to.
Oh no.
We'll see how it feels. See how it feels towards the end. If it gets like crazy,
yeah,
not worth it or something.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll probably have some other stuff I'm playing on the side as well. Like I still got to go through Octahedron and.
Perfect segue. Okay, so that's another game I wanted to talk about real quick this week, if you guys don't mind me digging into that for a second.
I set
DJ's played a little bit here, but Octahedron is a game that I feel like it came out. It's been on my radar for a while because it's been on Steam or PlayStation 4 or wherever the hell else for quite a while. I think just Steam maybe, because it was something that I didn't buy
or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but for whatever reason it popped up on Switch, and I don't even remember if I bought it on sale or just bought it when it came out. It might have been one of those that was like 20% off before like pre-purchase or whatever. But it's only like $10 or $12 standard price. It's a 2D platformer. It's got a little bit of like a to go NES style. It's got a little bit of like a Kid Icarus vibe. Not in the sense that you have any kind of angel powers, but you're going purely vertically. There's no scrolling left to right at all in this game.
Huh.
Like you're running left to right, and it's a 2D platformer with kind of like a seizure-inducing, just like techno drum and bass, not drum and bass. I don't know whatever the hell kind of music, dubstep music, and like kind of like just
that
really
electronic music.
Yeah, electronic, but like more like Deadmau5 kind of stuff. I might be. I don't listen to any of this, so I don't know. But
actually, I think an artist that I like, Chipzel, is one of the people that does.
There's a bunch of people, like it's just real songs. I don't think any of them were composed for the actual soundtrack. I could be wrong, but maybe other than like the title screen or something, which funny enough has like kind of this pulsing, like it sounds like I'm about to play Hitman when I'm booting up Octahedron. It's like dun 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 dun. It cracks me up, but yeah, it's just like a really tight. Basically, the main mechanic is like every level gives you a certain number of these surfboard platforms, or hoverboard is a more appropriate term, although they do call it surfing in the game. But you can jump with the jump button, and then hit a second button that will put a like surfboard hoverboard platform underneath right where you're standing, and you can hold it down for a pretty decent length of time. and you will upgrade that platform as time goes on to like kind of shoot like a laser beam straight down below it to take out enemies, which at first are not like a main element of the game, and then they introduce more and more enemies, and it really starts getting chaotic, and then you upgrade your power or your platform a few more times, or at least a couple more times, and you can kind of shoot these like spikes out from the side of it, and you get quite a bit more powerful, which is one of the few gripes I have about the game, because as you unlock, you do the more difficult challenges, get more of the collectibles, like every level, it's a really arcadey, and it really shows you like there's 30 light bulbs that you can break on each level that turn into flowers that you can collect. And then there's 8 of these tetrahedron pieces on every level, and then they have challenges for beat the level by using this many platforms or less, and there's like 3 tiers of that. And then there's a time-based challenge, and there's
don't die challenge.
Yeah, don't die challenge, like beat the level without dying. And
oh boy.
But as you unlock these harder challenges, you end up getting more lives per level and more powerful power-ups, and you can surf or hover longer. So it's like as you do the more difficult things, the game becomes easier. Like, whereas if you were to not unlock these kind of secret levels that give you these power-ups, you wouldn't get those. Which it's not a bad thing, because it made the game, as the game got tougher, just kind of kept the difficulty curve about the same, you know? I mean, it certainly got harder as the game went on. But man, I have not had so much fun playing a 2D platformer in a really, really long time.
Wow.
Probably back to Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is my favorite, probably my favorite, if not favorite, my second favorite 2D platformer. After Super
Mario
Mario
your favorite
World.
game.
It's up there.
Yes,
It's like I've said many times that it's my favorite game. I just love that game, and that just like, you know, unlike some of the new Super Mario Brothers games, for example, where like the hidden 3 coins on each level are like just peruse and look for, maybe you can jump through this wall that you can just happen to go through for no reason. You know, there's no telegraph, and like this is all like they're either precariously placed or they're like kind of like you might catch like oh, that looks weird. I think I might be able to break through that platform, and like you can kind of break outside of the boundaries of the level on occasion. And I played through the whole game. I think there's like 2 levels that I haven't fully completed. And I didn't get all the challenges and stuff like that. I got most of the collectibles on each level, and I might go back and farm for some of that, but it took me about 5 hours to plow through what I've played, and I just absolutely loved this game. Like, I would give it a wholehearted recommendation. I love it.
And that surprises me, because I think you also are someone who likes the more fast-paced platformer, and I feel like the vertical movement through the game slows you down, or doesn't lend itself to as fast gameplay.
It's a little more deliberate, like in terms of like finesse.
And I feel like that's what has at least stopped me from getting fully invested. Like, I felt that a lot of the levels seem samey.
The graphic style I do like it, but it doesn't help the cause. Like, every level really does look the same. It's just kind of these neon outlined borders of everything, and it really is. And the music like is good, but just kind of similar or samey.
So I haven't played this, but the graphics kind of stand out to me. It's like, ooh, that's kind of like a Geometry Wars type of thing going on.
Yeah, it's like, totally got the Geometry Wars vibe. Yeah, it's big time that, but it just doesn't change. You know, as the game goes on, it just stays the same way.
Right.
So I would agree with that it doesn't like evolve in a way. But I will say, like, it does a good level. Like, some of the levels you can only use, like, for every time, kind of like Celeste or a lot of these games that will, like, when you, or Downwell or something, like, when you land on the ground, it then recharges your, the platforms. But some levels will only allow you to do, like, you can make one platform, then jump up again and make a second platform, and they'll allow you to do, 2 platforms at a time before you touch the ground. But then some levels later in the game will, like, it'll be 50, and you'll be doing like kind of like a free fall almost, and those levels are way more action based. Or even when they're like 10 platforms, you just kind of know right off the bat. It'll tell you right at the beginning of the level, like the counter will just go up right above your head, and you're like, okay, I got 10, and like, so you can't, those levels are way more finesse based,
Right?
And you're really like, they're throwing enemies at you like crazy. Like I definitely was feeling like a fucking champ, like just plowing through, like just making some crazy jumps, and yeah, it doesn't have that same frenetic feel like Meat Boy or Celeste, or like, yeah, it's not as tangible, like the movement with the joystick. I don't know how else to explain it, but
I mean, it could just be that thing where I haven't gotten far enough where it's that technical and that challenging.
How far are you?
I completed the first 2 worlds.
Okay.
So
I mean, for what it's worth, though, I mean, I was loving this game from the second I booted it up. Like, wow. Like I said, you know, I've enjoyed games like Celeste and some of these other games that have come around and whatnot as like the kind of pinnacles of 2D platforming in recent years. And like I said before, like I would put this above, not to compare, they're totally different games, but I would put this above. I had more fun playing this than a lot of other games in that same general vein. And it feels very like unlike those other games, like the jump feels almost identical to like a Mega Man. Like the physics and the, you know, it's kind of like that weighty, a little bit more deliberate jump. Like you got to kind of plan it. You got to jump right at the edge and that kind of stuff. It's really, I don't know. It's different. It's not as floaty or as, hey, it's not quite the right word, but
put some of those retro skills to the test there.
Yeah, it's very. I like I said, I loved this game. I can't recommend it enough. I would endorse it to anyone who likes arcadey 2D platformers, and especially if you're into like doing the whole collectible thing. I mean, this like to get all 30 flowers and light bulbs and tetrahedrons. Like, there's almost no way you could do that and get the time and do the minimum jumps and stuff. So there's like, if you wanted to really milk this game, you know, you could probably get 30 hours out of it trying to get all the challenges. So,
wow.
I got what I wanted to get out of it. Maybe I'll try to finish up the stuff, like I said, just to finish all the real levels, or all the secret levels and stuff, because I do like doing that at least, just to experience the whole game. But yeah, I really love this game.
Dang, you got me sold on that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yes, hopefully, and that's
be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I would be if you do end up checking it out. I'd be curious to touch back on this one eventually, or if you play some more, DJ. I guess let's plan on coming back to this if you indeed do end up playing some at some point. No, we don't have to do it anytime soon or anything, but yeah, if you come back to it, Randall, and if DJ ends up playing a little more too. And this game, by the way, is from Demi-Monde Games, is the developer, and it's published by Square Enix or Square Enix. So it kind of fits into that. I know they bought out Taito. They did at some point, so it kind of fits into that vein a little bit more. Right. It doesn't have any Square Enix or Enix ties other than that, really. Right. Not the usual thing. Yeah. So yeah, I can't endorse that game enough. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So hopefully if you have somehow, if this game slipped under the radar again, it was always kind of on my radar since I had seen some screenshots or trailer or something. But if it kind of slipped out, there's so many games coming to the Switch or PS4, Steam. Obviously, Steam you can't even keep up. But if this one slipped past you and you like 2D platformers, again, this is just one person's opinion, but I really endorse it. And I consider myself to be a connoisseur of these type of games, I guess. So
maybe we'll revisit this topic. Yeah. Once Randall and I have put more time into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to grab this.
Let's do it. Awesome. I'll be curious to talk about that some more then, so I can talk even more on this podcast. Well, I guess real quick. So one more game I wanted to talk about, and I guess this doesn't have to necessarily be the last thing, but I did want to talk. We played a little bit of Rocket League before playing or before recording tonight. And DJ and I have been playing a little bit. I've been playing a lot while recovering from this hernia surgery. And I know Randall and I have played together a little bit. Yep. Here and there, and I'm sure we've all played individually. Oh yeah. But this is just a game that obviously it's been around for a little while now. From Psyonix and at least on Switch from Panic Button, and it's just a game that at this point I feel like people kind of take for granted that it exists. I'm able to log on and play online at any time of day, any time of night. Can't sleep, can't wake up, whatever. I can put this game on. There's always people to play with, and it's just simple but it has so much depth. I don't know. There's just so much. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's
very
obviously
addicting,
soccer with cars. If you're not familiar with the game, it's like RC cars playing soccer, but it's just really addicting. The games are nice and short and sweet, 5 minutes. You have a lot of options.
It's like
just a game.
Food. It's like always. Yeah. It's just always there, and it's always awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, my first experience with the game, I think, it was like one night around like 10 p.m. I was like a little bit tired, but I was like, oh, let me just pop this in before I go to bed. And I was up till 7 a.m. playing this game. I just couldn't stop.
Yeah. Just the other day or a couple of weeks ago, DJ and I were playing, and we were like, let's try to go for 5 in a row. And like, I had a little video capture device, and I recorded it, and I was uploading it, and I was like, this is fucking 5 hours and 45 minutes. Like, it did not feel like that at all. And man, yeah, I just like every time I go back to this game, like again, it's like if you're not familiar with a controller and you just picked it up, you'd maybe have a little tougher time grasping the mechanic or the button layout and all that,
right?
Which I believe you can customize. But either way, like I'm able to pick this game up and just. It's like muscle memory, it's like maybe a couple games and I'm right back in it where I was,
Not to say we're any good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we play with people all the time that are flying around. I hover in like the low silver, high bronze tier. I'm not any kind of wizard at this game or anything, despite the hat on my car. But
you piece of shit.
But yeah,
that's also like what helps make it so addicting is like you see all these people doing these complex tricks and just destroying you.
You're like, I can be better than I am, and I'm not. Like you realize I'm not even good.
No, the skill ceiling is crazy on this game, and you'd have no idea until you played other people.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with like people like unlocking things or anything.
No.
It's anything you can unlock. I believe is all cosmetic. And it's all about these just simple mechanics of just, and all about these simple mechanics of just like speed boost, jump, hairpin turn, and
flying,
but which is just tying together your jump and your boost. It's really, it's complex, but it's stripped down to the point of just being a solid game that. As long as they keep supporting it and doing whatever, and, obviously they're making enough money off of these little cosmetic cars and decals and whatever, and I don't buy any of that shit, but if other people want to buy it, and it keeps this game supported.
What's wrong with that garbage?
It's fun garbage, though.
Yeah, it is goofy, but I just kind of play until I unlock them naturally and just use whatever's there. I'm not committed enough, but especially because, if it was a free-to-play game, I'd feel totally differently because I would just feel like, man, I'm having so much fun playing this game. I should give these guys a little bit of money.
Right.
Whereas, like, hey, I already paid $20 for this.
Right.
Which we're not going to release this in time, I'm sure, but the game is currently on sale on the Switch for $12, so...
And it's available on everything, everything.
Steam, Xbox, PS4. I believe it's cross-play, cross-platform play.
Yeah. I wish.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say, and I don't think any of us really have anything to say that hasn't been said about this game.
We don't have a unique perspective on this.
We just endorse it.
It's just good,
yes.
And if you've somehow let it slip, or if it's fallen off your radar, or if somehow you just haven't played this game, especially if you're into playing competitive games at all online. I mean, I'm really not even all that into that, but I get sucked in when I'm playing. I just keep one more. It's like the essential one more game, one more round.
Talking about this now makes me want to play this again when we're done with this podcast. It's that good. It's just that good.
Yeah, it's up there. It's an all-timer.
Yeah,
for me.
Come find us. Come play against us.
There you go.
Yeah, we could make a little clan. If that's what they're still called, group clan. I forget what they're called. I only played with groups in SOCOM on PS2, and they were called clans back then. I remember.
Wow, you had the modem?
My brother did. Yeah,
oh, nice.
We would hook it up in like our little computer room, and he would stay up all night playing. I only played a little bit here and there with him. I was never any good, but
right.
No, I was definitely hooked onto that game as well. Maybe we could.
Yeah, maybe a little SOCOM. We'll revisit that for next week.
Dude.
Wow. God, I don't have any way
in on that.
I don't have any way to play that game still. I don't think. I definitely don't own it. But I don't know. Did we have anything else that we wanted to discuss for this week, or do we want to talk at all about what we want to talk about next week, or do we want to just kind of leave that hanging? A little cliffhanger here. How are you guys feeling?
Leave them in suspense. Leave them on that Rocket League action.
Yeah, play some Rocket League.
Yeah,
and
that's your mission, and some Octahedron apparently.
Yeah, play that for sure, and maybe some Fenix Furia. It sounds like that definitely sounds up my alley, and in the same general vein as Octahedron, in a slightly different capacity, but it definitely, like I said, I did caught my eye at some point before, so.
But most of all, play Hitman.
Yeah,
sponsored by Hitman.
Sponsored by Hitman.
And Whip.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think across the board, and by the way, I at least for me, I'm not going to speak for everyone else here, but
Good.
I think we're going to try to, for the most part. I mean, if we're picking a game that we're all going to kind of talk through and whatever, and we're going to end up nitpicking things and whatnot, but I think anything that we're going to talk about on this podcast is at least going to come with a soft recommendation of, like, if you're into this kind of game,
right?
You might dig this.
Yeah.
Like
I was definitely a little critical sounding of Hitman, but I, overall definitely really enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, and same here. Yeah, I don't have any problem with
asshole.
bad with talking about the parts of a game that I don't like. But I do think that that for the most part, especially once we move on from like the initial conversation, like I think if we're talking about a game, you can take it as a recommendation if it's your sort of thing.
And if not, it will be very clear.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We've all got access to so many games that why spend a ton of time on something you're not really enjoying, Yeah. So
yeah,
it won't come to this conversation if it's something we're really not into, unless it was so notable that we hate it.
Yeah. If it's really worth, like, if it actually has a reason to talk about why it's so bad or something. But yeah, I mean, if in my mind, it's like if I've already wasted time playing a game that I'm not having fun with, I'm not going to waste more of my time talking about that game. Unless there's something valuable or a lesson learned or something like that.
Right.
Or maybe if there's, your opinion is against the majority.
Or yeah, that's a good point. I could trash a few games if I felt the need.
Let's
go. We'll get into that another time. But yeah, I think we're sitting pretty good here, unless there's anything else you guys wanted to talk about.
Nah, I'm done talking to
Let's
you.
close her up.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to anyone there that is. And this has been our first episode here of Pursuing Pixels. My name is Kevin Portelli. I guess I'll give some context. I'll give my full name here.
DJ Mandolini.
Randall Nolery.
All right. Well, have a good evening or a good day or whatever part of the day you're in. And we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Take care.
Later. Do you primarily play on the Switch?
I do, yeah. I have access to a PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, and a Switch, but I play a ton on Switch just because it's so easy to just pick up and play.
Got it.
Same here.
So at least we all share a one console.
Yeah. Well, two. We all have PS4s and Switches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Although I barely touch my PS4 in comparison to the others.
Yeah, I'll probably be the voice of the place.
But that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. I use my PS4 to watch wrestling and Star Trek, so that's about it.